Tian here, and this is episode number 5 of the Real Talk with Tian podcast. Yay, we're at the halfway mark of season 1. Sorry about that. If this is your first episode, welcome. If you're a returning listener, welcome back. I'm so thrilled to have you here. So, what are we talking about today? Well, I'm excited about today's episode because we're talking about something I get questions on quite a bit, and it's something I talk about often. I even wrote a book about it, Pattern Launch Plan. We're talking about the essentials of getting your pattern designs noticed, about how to effectively talk about your designs. Sometimes I'm talking to a designer and she's put in a ton of work on the pattern and making the actual sample piece. But she doesn't promote the pattern and wonder why no one is noticing. Designers, today I'm talking specifically to you. Let's face it, you have a great design. The pattern is clearly written, tech edited, tested, has great photos, all of that. But it's still not getting noticed. In today's episode, we're not talking about the pattern piece, the editing piece. We're not talking about that. We'll cover all of what makes a great design and what needs to be included in your pattern in an upcoming episode. But for now, we're talking about if you have an existing pattern or a few patterns under your belt and need to know how to talk about them, how to get noticed. Okay? So here's the deal. You enjoy designing and you have some great ideas. You have some already great patterns published. But here's the deal. You enjoy designing and you have some great designs published, but you get so stiff and robot-like when it comes to sharing the pattern with your audience and on social media. Maybe you're not confident about the pattern. Maybe you didn't get it professionally tech edited, so you're not too excited to share it because in the back of your head, maybe you're afraid there might be errors. But there's a different attitude I see with designers when the pattern is professionally tech edited, tested, and they're confident about the quality of the piece. There's a different level of assurance that comes from a designer when they know the pattern is the best that it can be. Because the truth is, if the design is something you are over the moon excited and passionate about, you're confident in its quality, then you're going to talk about it, and often, right? Because when you're proud of it and putting it out there, you will want others to enjoy it too. The bottom line is, if you're passionate and confident about your design, people will notice. And that is the main key to marketing and promotion. Having a great design, a pattern you're confident about, and a deep passion for your work. These things I mentioned, they all help, but you still have to put an offer out there in front of the crocheters and knitters who want what you're offering. You have to put more work into the talking about of your design, the marketing and promotion, than the actual making the actual pattern. You have to put more work into talking about your design, which is the marketing and promotional piece, than the actual making of the pattern. So I like to use a 25-75 split, meaning that 25% is the making of the thing, the pattern, and 75% of the time is devoted to the marketing and promotion. However, what I see often is a designer publish a pattern, talk about it for a weekend, a week or two, and then that's it. They move on to the next design. That's how they generate sales. They make a design, publish it, make a few sales during the first week or so of the pattern hidden Ravelry. Sales taper off. They do it all over again, making a design, talking about it for a week, sales taper off. Now, I'm guilty of doing that in the beginning. I was only making sales when I published a new pattern. So I've been there. And what does that mean? It means you have to keep on this hamster wheel of publishing. And that, my friend, is draining and leads to fast burnout. Because you keep doing this amazing work and no one is seeing it. Right? So you're pretty much just wondering why even bother. Because you're not making any money, so you don't feel as motivated to continue. So let's get off that trap and do something different. And that's what we're going to talk about next. How to actually talk about our designs. So you're about to hit publish on your next pattern, or maybe you have a few in your Ravelry shop. Now, what do you do next? How do you talk about them? Now, have you told anyone about your designs? Maybe an aunt, a sister, a cousin, a knitting friend? No? No one? Well, that's kind of the thing. You have to tell people about it. The idea of if you build it, they will come, that concept is a lie. If you build it, you have to tell people so they will come, right? So what might that look like? Well, it's not going onto social media and shouting out that you have a new design out, or it's not hopping from group to group on Ravelry or Facebook and just dropping the link to your pattern page. First, that might be considered spam by a lot of groups. Second, it's kind of gross. And I'm not judging you if you've done that. Heck, I have. And I mean, some groups do encourage it. But the point is, just don't do that anymore, because let's be honest, it's not effective, because if it was, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now, right? Instead, what it should look like is having conversations between you and your audience. Before you can have that conversation, you need to know your audience in order to be able to talk to them directly. Some of you might not know who your audience is right now, and we'll go into identifying all that in more detail in season 2. But in the meanwhile, if you're really hung up on it and you just need some information, go check out my book, Pattern Launch Plan. There's some great information in there. But for now, when you're talking to your audience, just remember, it's not about you. The conversation is centered around your audience, their needs, and you're sharing the value that your pattern offers. It's about the crocheter that will be making your sweater. It's about that knitter that will be making that hat for their daughter heading off to college for the first time. So it's not about you at all. In these conversations with your audience, you want to talk about the benefits, not so much about the features. And the difference is that the benefits are things like construction, the yarn, the techniques. So what? So what if the socks are toe up? So what if the yarn used has mohair? So what if these socks use afterthought heels? The benefits answer that so what piece of the question. The benefits tell the deeper story to make a connection with the knitter and the crocheter to help them better understand why they should buy your pattern. For our sock example we just mentioned, you say it's work from the toe up. The so what is that it allows you to use up all your yarn so there are no leftovers, right? For the yarn, it has mohair because it's a stronger fiber to help give strength to your finished piece. So what? To give your sock a longer life, so you can wear it longer without, busting a hole in the heel or the toe. Does that make sense? Like I said, in season 2, we'll be digging more into the specific building of a business, from defining your audience to pitching. So let's do a quick recap of what we've talked about. How to go about talking about your design. It actually includes you talking about your design. When you're on Ravelry and social media, you're talking about the value that your design offers to your audience. It's about telling them the benefits of your pattern and not just the features of the construction and the yarn used and things like that. It's really tapping into your audience and what they need and talking directly to them. So I hope this all makes sense. If you have any questions, please go on to Instagram and leave me a comment under the post for this episode, and we can have a deeper conversation about this. Like I said, in season 2, we'll be digging more into the specifics of building a business. We'll talk about defining your audience more in detail and how to pitch to a yarn company for support. So stick around for that. In the meantime, though, feel free to grab a copy of my book, Pattern Launch Plan. Go to tianconneton.com for more details. Now, how to use these techniques? Well, on social media, we're no longer just dropping links and running away, right? We're having real conversations by sharing stories. We're sharing the benefits and tying that to why the knitter might want to knit these socks, right? Maybe on Instagram, you share a photo of a blown out sock heel and then you tie in your sock and how you chose the yarn with a mohair to avoid that happening again in the future. Or you show off your bins of leftover bits of yarn from previous socks that you work from the top down in order to show how making your sock will eliminate all those extra bits of leftover sock yarn. Now, do you see how I'm weaving stories into the sock? It makes for a more natural conversation and not just, here's my sock, go buy it, kind of thing. Okay, so does that all make sense? I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. My website is tianconneton.com. I'm always happy to help. I hope you were able to take away something from this episode. If anything I talked about in this episode or past episode resonated with you, please reach out on Instagram or leave a comment on my website, tianconneton.com. I'm also Knit Designs by Tian on Instagram. Did you enjoy this episode? Please leave a rating and review. Hit subscribe and share this episode with 5 of your friends that you think could really use this information. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon. Bye for now.